Welcome to the Scoundrel Shard, episode 12. I apologize for the quality. I had some technical difficulties, so we're using a slightly different process. Hopefully, this will improve in future episodes. But I want to continue to talk about the games that I've lost and how I can improve, and hopefully, have you guys take something away from that as well. I am playing against Tundra, who is a top 1% player. I'm playing a straight Mori deck, very meta. It's got the dancers, it's got soul shifters, it's got soul binders, very much a standard Mori deck as you might see. I get an early decent start. They don't have a 1 or a 2 play, and I do have the Tome Keeper, which lets me get a little bit of an advantage early. I don't have a good 3 drop, so I go ahead and just use the Spark of Genius to get an extra card next turn, try and get a little card advantage and prepare after that. But I do have the Astral Champion on turn 4, which is just a wonderful card at that point. I'm only running 2 drops or higher, so I know I'm going to get at least a 5/5 out of that, possibly more. They run the Shockblade Smuggler on turn 3, which is obviously a wonderful play for them. We now have a Shockblade Smuggler of our own, but we're going to go ahead and play the Astral Champion and then move our Tome Keeper out of line of sight. This is to force them to commit to trying to kill it. If they want to kill it, they have to walk all the way to that side. Also, that would probably mean they would bring their Shockblade Smuggler in because they've committed to an aggressive course of action. We have the Spirit Binder in hand, so that's very good for us. One thing that I really want to focus on in this game is thinking about what I could lose with once I have a lead. It is very easy to get a lead and feel like you're invincible, but if you aren't conscious of the cards that your opponent could have that could lose you the game and you don't play around those, you can very easily find yourself losing, as I do in this game. So keep that in mind. I want you to try and see ahead of me pointing it out what I didn't play around. So they're taking their time trying to figure out what to do here, looking at what our game plan is going forward. Because, like I said, we always want to have a plan as to how we're going to win. The overarching plan for a Mori deck is to fill the board either with anomalies or other small creatures in the mid to late game, but to control the board or early using Spirit Binders, Soul Shifters, Shockblade Smugglers, especially using Mori's Super Time Skip ability to enable favorable trades with Shockblade Smuggler. So we see they do commit to the aggressive course of action, which means that we can make an excellent trade here, either with slow reflexes, which we consider there for a moment, but I think Spirit Binder is the far superior play here. We get to advance our board position, and most of the time when you play Spirit Binder, you're not going to have that positioning right next to them to where you can immediately free your Spirit Binder. It's just a far superior play in this situation, even if it does leave us down a mana. So this position right here, I think we very clearly have dominant board position, especially with the slow reflexes in hand. We can make the trade against the Trauma Guard next turn for free. We do see the Flesh Offering come out against the Astral Champion, which is perfectly fine. It means they had to give up their turn and give us a card in exchange for getting rid of that. Here, I think I make my first mistake. I wanted to get the super time skip going. I should have instead used the slow reflexes to get the free trade, so I had a healthy Spirit Binder, and then follow up with Shockblade Smuggler. That would have given me much stronger board position, especially because they are on our side of the map. The super time skip is a play you want to make when you have another turn or two of safety. Like if they're on the other side of their map trying to gear up, that's when you want to play super time skip. So then as they move into your area, you can start using it to use things like Duskblade or other effects, Shockblade Smuggler, to get positive net trades. Instead, we're left just playing the Duskblade. We end up with a 2-4 and a 3-2 on board, whereas if we had made the other play, we would have had a 4-5 and a 3-6 on the board, which would have been much more threatening. And notice the life totals here. We're equal life total. We're up on board position. They play the Soul Bounty, which gives us a little bit of, we could Soul Shifter over and kill it, but knowing what's in their graveyard, Shockblade Smuggler and Trauma Guard, we don't necessarily want to give them those cards back. This, I believe, is where I make my second mistake. Not Spatial Fettering's the Soul Bounty, I think that's fine. We don't want to kill it, we want it out of the way. I think the mistake I make here is in positioning. Again, the question I should have been asking myself is, what cards could absolutely turn the game in their favor? What are their force multiplier swing cards? And instead of thinking, oh, a corpse explosion would do that, I put myself in this nice little triangle just saying, here, not only take out 2 of my guys, but put me at 4 life less. I knew what he had in the graveyard. I could have made a better choice there, and I didn't. And it cost me the game. As you can see, now I'm down to 12 versus 20 life. And from here on out, everything I play just gets countered. I don't have big, beefy creatures. I can play the Fate Linker. It's the only thing I have. But he's got the Exsanguinate to take care of it. Everything I play after this point is just taken care of. And the super time skip, which I, spent that whole turn trying to get, doesn't help me because he's already over in my face. He can just use his hero power to kill off the mini anomalies as they come out. And I don't have enough of a board position now to threaten him away. Whereas if I had spread, I would have had at least one other creature, or if I hadn't made the mistake to play the super time skip in the first place, I would have had several creatures that could have dealt with him. So the game just falls apart from here. I'm not going to go ahead and finish it all out. It ends with him getting an assassin and being able to just completely get up in my face over and over and over again. But the important lesson here, the thing that I want to take away from this, is to constantly be thinking when I have a lead, what are the situations where I lose, and what can I do to mitigate those risks? Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully in better quality, and we'll see you then.